What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some insane news to talk about with Netflix stock. It is cratering right now. We're going to talk about exactly why this is happening and other important stocks for tomorrow. But we have some crazy news today, so make sure to stick around to the end. Tom, what is going on with Netflix?
Yeah, it's insane. In after hours today, they are tanking off to the downside in a major way, Mike. And, the biggest thing that I saw with their earnings report was that they missed on their subscriber numbers. But in the end here, they fell below the key $300 psychological level. They're all the way down to 270 now. And this is just an insane drop to the downside. So, there's a great article out by CNBC here with Netflix's earnings, and you can see that they said that they lost subscribers for the first time in more than 10 years. That is pretty telling, Mike. They lost 200,000 subscribers during the first quarter. That was definitely not good to see. Their EPS did actually come in at a pretty nice number, but their revenue or sales actually came in just under the estimate. So that's another reason why they're going down is those sales numbers. But Mike, that's always terrible when you report a loss of 200,000 subscribers. And man, I will say there is a few key issues that made them lose that much, kind of like the Russia situation. Apparently on the Thinkorswim news here, you can see that Russia accounted for the loss of over 700,000 subscribers for Netflix. So that was definitely a big deal for them.
Yeah, that is crazy, Tom. And I know Netflix stock tanked down in their previous earnings report after kind of warning everyone that their subscriber growth will slow down, but nobody was expecting what we saw today. Netflix was expecting to add 2.5 million subscribers to their platform for this quarter, but like you said, Tom, they ended up losing 200,000 subscribers. So that is rough. It's crazy, and the stock is getting destroyed. Today it closed around $350 a share, and right now it's at $265, but it's just trading lower by the minute.
Yeah, and they lost 200,000 subscribers this quarter, and then they're expected in the second quarter to lose over 2 million subscribers. And that did actually come in slightly better than the estimates for their outlook, but still though, that's still terrible to expect to lose 2 million subscribers next quarter. And that's just another reason why they're down here. Like you said, their stock is tanking down in after hours, Mike, and I don't know what's been going on with these big tech stocks, but if we look at Netflix on the daily chart, they're going to open up with a huge gap to the downside. And you know what? It kind of reminds me of like Facebook. Facebook reported earnings last time. They gapped down as well. And we're just seeing some of these bigger tech companies continue to gap down. Like even Twitter was moving down in a big way for a while there. I know today it's not the same, but man, like we're seeing some big tech stocks tank down. And this really worries me because even stocks like Disney now are starting to follow Netflix to the downside in after hours. And it's just getting brutal for some of these beaten down companies.
Very true. So I'm sure a lot of people are wondering why Disney's falling, and it's because Disney Plus and Netflix are kind of similar in the sense that they're both streaming services. And if we see Netflix take such a huge loss on their monthly subscribers, you would think that Disney might be affected too.
Yeah, you definitely would. And, those streaming services have been huge lately and they've been in the headlines quite a bit. So it's definitely not good to see Disney following them down. And, I would probably expect Disney to report a bit of a slowdown also. But I will say Disney does have some good stuff in the works, like some Star Wars shows and stuff like that. I know Netflix had Squid Game a while ago. And I remember, Mike, for a while there, if we look at like the daily chart, whenever Netflix was like around highs, this is whenever Squid Game was like at its peak of popularity. And then I don't know, I guess it just started falling off. But either way, I mean, it's good to see Disney trying to get back in the game with some of their shows, but I'm not sure it'll help because this was a pretty bad report, Mike.
Yeah, it's brutal, and Netflix is definitely facing some big problems like growing competition in a major way, and then also account sharing among their customers. Like Netflix reported that many accounts are being shared, which just it doesn't lose them revenue, but like people who should be paying for Netflix are just using other people's accounts and not paying, you know what I mean? So that's definitely a problem there. But Tom, looking more at Netflix stock, like what's the next level? Like it just blasted below 300. And like I said, it's just trading lower by the minute. So what's next?
Yeah, we have to go to a max daily chart right now to even see exactly where Netflix is going to open up tomorrow, because we are getting back to levels that Netflix was at back in like 2019 and 2018. So we are starting to really fall off the board here. So with Netflix, we can see that in after hours, their low is all the way down around 265. So if we go to that max daily chart, we can see that Netflix's stock, if it opens up tomorrow where we're at right now, it's going to open up like right around where my cursor is. So we can see that in the past, there was a pretty big support right around 250. And that's also going to be a big psychological level. So Mike, I think $250 will be the next major support to look at here. If we start falling below that, I'm seeing some more support around 230. But below 230, I think we have a pretty straight shot down to 200. So it's going to be tough. I think 250 will end up holding up. And, I'll be honest, I don't see Netflix tanking down too much more than it already has. But hey, I mean, they could prove me wrong and fall more. I wouldn't be surprised in this type of market.
Right? All right, Tom. Well, what else do we have going on in the market?
Yeah, so actually stocks did very well today overall. The airline stocks continue to do well today. We actually had a lot of growth stocks do great this morning. So DraftKings initially wasn't really doing too much around market open, but a couple hours later, it was blasting right back to the upside here. ChargePoint was moving up. We even have AMC up 6.8%. So while we do have Netflix kind of stealing the headlines here, stocks did great today. Even Square was doing good. So you name it, if it was in the growth sector, it probably ended up moving up today. So stocks did very well, Mike. Like I said, even some of the slower movers were up, like Starbucks, and even some of these chip plays like Intel were moving up. So we're definitely seeing some great movement. And I just wanted to point it out that the airlines, Mike, we talked a lot about them yesterday, and there was more good news today. So we kind of talked about them getting rid of the mask mandates yesterday, and it came out that the TSA is actually not going to enforce the mandates anymore. So that's pretty cool to see. Apparently the White House said that this was going to happen. So, this is good news, and we're seeing these cruise lines and airlines still blast up.
There we go. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about these growth stocks, Tom. We have companies like Palantir, DraftKings, Square, and a lot of other ones looking great. So I know there's no like major news related to these stocks, but hey, I mean, they're up a lot.
Yeah, they are. And a lot of them got really close to some big supports lately. Like if we look at Palantir and we go to the 1 year daily chart, it's been really straddling this awesome $12 support down here. I talked about this a little bit in this morning's live stream, Mike, but Palantir is setting up in a nice, almost like an inverse head and shoulders pattern. There's a really nice like shoulder / neckline right around $12. That's been a pretty big support in the past. So hopefully Palantir ends up holding up at $12 here and starts moving up. But it's not just Palantir. Facebook did very well today, Mike, and they're also moving around a support right around like 208 to 210. So we're seeing great movement out of a lot of stocks, and it's really nice. Even Rivian and Lucid ended up coming back today after having a terrible open. So we saw some really good recoveries over the past couple days.
All right, there we go. What are some of your favorite setups right now?
What's really been catching my eye, Mike, are some of these charging stocks, like whether it's ChargePoint or Plug or Blink. They are all starting to fly back to the upside here. Plug almost led my watch list today, up 9.7%. It exploded, and it has like a pretty good triple top up there around 28.30 intraday. So I'll definitely be looking at this one for a nice resistance tomorrow. Like I said, ChargePoint did well. We even have the space stocks, Mike, like SPCE popping up along with ASTR. So like we said, the growth sector is on fire right now, and all these stocks are setting up in great ways. Another one of my favorites is Zoom down here, Mike. They're starting to come back, and this is another one that just is right around that key $100 support.
There we go. All right, so before we move on to the next part of the video, I want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, CyberClays. Thank you so much for being an awesome member of the Stocked Up Discord chat and for always joining the live streams. Tom and I really appreciate you, and if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day, so make sure to subscribe if you're new. But Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have SPCE to the upside.
Yeah, with the SPCE, go ahead and make them break above that high of day there. They almost double topped right around $9.22.
All right, with the next one, we have Chewy also to the upside.
Yeah, good old Chewy. Thank God they started moving back here. Go ahead and make them break out above 42.70.
With the next one, we have DraftKings also to the upside.
Yeah, they had a great day, especially early on. Go ahead and make them break 17.22.
All right, so we're watching DraftKings, Chewy, and SPCE for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But Tom, we have to showcase that bot play from today. It was pretty dang good. So we can see our bot called out the DraftKings 16 strike call options that expire this week at $100 each. And just a couple hours later, they ran all the way up to $135 each. This is a 35% pop in a couple hours. If you trade options, you got to try out our bot. It's awesome. You're not going to find it anywhere else. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it anytime. On top of that, we have a coupon running. The link for it is going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. Yesterday's play popped for 44.6%. Of course, not every single play pops, but it's a pretty dang good bot. And like I said, you're not going to find it anywhere else. So if you trade options, make sure to check out that link below. Tom, do we have any other important news going on in the market or anything else that we need to know?
I guess we can talk about the earnings that are still coming up this week. Tomorrow, we're still going to have some big ones. I know Netflix stole the headlines tonight, but tomorrow before open, we're going to have Procter & Gamble and Abbott reporting. And tomorrow after close, we're going to have good old Tesla. So this is going to be a big one, especially with Twitter and everything in the headlines lately. I think Tesla, hopefully they report some good numbers. I know that there's been a bit of a slowdown in the automotive industry with everything going on from Russia to inflation and just everything like that. So hopefully Tesla reports good numbers. United Airlines will also be reporting. So that's going to be pretty big tomorrow. But, we still have a lot of big earnings set for the week, Mike. And also Powell's going to be speaking on Thursday. It's not going to be too important. We'll talk about this a little bit more in tomorrow's video, but keep in mind he will be speaking Thursday a couple times as well.
Let's go. I'm excited, Tom. All these major earnings are coming up. It's going to bring a lot of volatility. Like you said, we have Tesla on Wednesday, and then next week we have a lot of other big companies like Apple and Microsoft. So things are about to get exciting. Growth stocks are at a good level. But I will say this Netflix movement is it's not a good start.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely scary. It's worrisome to see them tanking down like this. And man, I don't know where they're going to open up tomorrow. Hopefully it's somewhere around 270 or a little bit higher. I'd hate to see them keep falling off and approach down to 250. That would not be a good move. But yeah, I mean, you're right. This is not a good start to the season. And, we did see some big banks kind of fall earlier in the week too, with JP Morgan reporting last week. And then I know Bank of America actually ended up going up. So hopefully it just continues to be mixed, Mike. That would be a best case scenario.
Here we go. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And if you trade options, you got to check out that first link down below. The bot's awesome. Besides that, let's have a great rest of the week.